everybody. This is Enson. I've been busy with Tsuyoshi's fight, RIZIN Landmark 5. We got a trip to Thailand, talked about the UFC fights, all kinds of stuff. So don't miss this episode. Right on.
1978とある田舎町で生まれて移り住んだ新宿で育ちこの町で起きたこれまでの俺たちのここまでの生い立ちはほんのまた序の口試されたいちいち正してきた過ち騙し合いやからしないはスニッチの始まり放課後の山椒児童館にホームアローンそんな時間はほったらかして向かったとある場所
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamatodamashii podcast. It has been a big weekend. It was RIZIN Landmark 5, and which took place in the cage in Tokyo. And I'm curious to hear from Enson, his experience, how it went. Obviously, Sudario getting a big win. But first off, Enson, how are you doing? I know it's late. We're keeping you up.
Great. Also, just got back from training. Been doing a lot of training of fighters. So Tsuyoshi, although Tsuyoshi's done, we have another guy, Yuji, that has a fight in 12 days. So we just got done training with him. So I leave actually for Hawaii on the day after tomorrow. So after this podcast, I'm going to pack my bags and then get rest. And then tomorrow will be pretty much my last day before I got to take off. So pretty busy.
Non-stop. It's non-stop. And we were talking just before how we booked Thailand as well in June. So we've got that trip to look forward to. And so you guys will look out for some cool content. Whatever we film out there, we're still doing some planning around what we're going to film. But yeah, let's get into Landmark. I mean, for me personally, so how I watched it, I had a very destroying experience watching it. I was driving up to Manchester, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But Manchester's about a 3-hour drive, and I left super early. And actually, I think I was about halfway through the journey, and I realized that, oh shit, Sudario was like third on the card, so he's probably going to be fighting soon. So I pulled over into a service station. I managed to watch it live on my phone, so that was cool. And then I watched the rest of the card when I got back later. But I mean, talk me through your impression of the fight. I mean, there's so much going into this fight, just in terms of the opponent and the history with you and Melka, his coach. I don't know, where's best to start?
Well, for one, Roque's a very, very experienced fighter. And if anything, we felt that Roque's probably the best fighter Tsuyoshi has fought to date. I mean, Tafa is a killer, but Tafa is, I think his ground, taking him down and controlling him on the ground, would have been easier than Roque, because I think that Tafa doesn't have as much MMA fights as Roque does, and Roque does have a wrestling background. So
did you see Tafa's fight in the UFC that he had recently?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, it was when I first heard that he was fighting Tafa, that's what Usman's brother did, is what I thought we should have done.
Yeah, that was what went through my mind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, avoid the takedown, take him down, control on the ground. And I think Tafa, is out of his element on the ground, so it got him a little more tired, a little faster. And of course, yeah, he was nailing him in the first round, so he was going for that first round knockout, and a lot of times that'll gas a lot of fighters. So
he still looked impressive, but it just, when I was watching that fight, I was like, oh, this is what Enson told Sudario to do.
Yeah, so I even told Mark Hunt that later. I said, yeah, hey, I wanted him to take Tafa down, but he wanted to stand. And Mark Hunt pretty much said, oh, that's not a good idea, man. And I was like, yeah, I thought so too,
Well, the good news is, I was going to say, the good news is that he did live and learn, right? And it looked like you guys had a real game plan, which he was following throughout this fight with Roque.
Yeah, so Roque, as far as striking wise, he's better than Tsuyoshi. As far as toughness wise, he has that. He's already proven that he's a lot tougher than Tsuyoshi. I mean, Tsuyoshi might be tough, but he hasn't had that chances to show it. Roque has. Roque's tough. Roque will die on his shield. So for me, we had to get a strategy, because toughening it out and beating Roque on toughness or like experience was something that we weren't going to be able to do. Roque's ground he has good ground too, but we figured that if Roque's on his back, he's a lot more susceptible. And Tsuyoshi moves like a middleweight, so when Roque's on his back, we knew that the movement that Tsuyoshi had could probably keep Roque on his back or create him to have crazy scrambles to actually stand up, which would probably burn his gas. The biggest thing I was worried about is Roque is tough. Roque has a good counter punches. If we go in and strike with Roque, I mean, of course, if Tsuyoshi can hit Roque, Roque can hit Tsuyoshi. So I was really concerned about Roque has a real solid left hook. He comes out with a real nice right hook too. He does leg kicks. He's well rounded. So our thing was, I noticed that Roque had a hard time moving side to side. I don't know if it's because his weight or it's just his style. His style is that stalk and hunt style. So I thought that probably moving side to side would be the best thing. The other thing I thought was that Roque's so tough. I mean, if Tsuyoshi were to start throwing down with him, Roque would eat his shots and throw back. And I don't know if Tsuyoshi could take Roque's shots. So that's one thing I also didn't want to do, is Tsuyoshi to stand still and throw blow for blow. I wanted him to hit and move, and make sure his movements always side to side. So Roque had to move laterally instead of front and back. So I mean, I can have a good game plan, but I mean, the whole thing is about Tsuyoshi executing it, and that he did perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always easy to forget that Tsuyoshi less than 10 fights. Like, he's still like 2.5 years in this game, maybe 3 years.
You got to figure half of most of his fights were in the beginning were all pro wrestlers. So that was more just ring experience, getting in the ring and working on the jitters. But as far as actually fight experience, his first fight was no fight experience. It didn't help him at all. The Miyamoto-sen, the one he knocked him out in 7 seconds, that guy had no experience either. So, a lot of his fights, there were no time in the ring, and there was no experience that could be accumulated under his belt.
Yeah, no, I was super impressed with the pressure he was putting on. When he took him down and had him on the ground, he really wasn't leaving any openings for Roque to make a move. I thought that was something we'd never seen from Tsuyoshi before, seeing that top game and just kind of how he really owned the fight. I felt like I saw, because some people were sort of criticizing, like, oh, he didn't get the finish, but actually I felt like this was more valuable, him having that like complete control over an opponent.
Well, you know what it was too. Yeah, we wanted to. We played a safer fight. So even though he did rock Roque on the standing, instead of trying to finish the standing, we had him change levels and take down. When he was on the ground, instead of making, to finish somebody on the ground, you have to make space for strikes. And when you make space, it allows the guy space to turn and stand up. So I had Tsuyoshi continue putting pressure on the ground and just small elbows, small fists, small knees, dropping knees into him. And the main objective wasn't to finish him. The main objective was to control him on the ground and do slow damage, punch by punch, knee by knee.
Yeah, it worked really well. I have to say, though, I was kind of, even though Tsuyoshi was doing really well, there was always that moment in me of like, oh, I hope he doesn't get overconfident, because at the end of round one, he kind of sort of celebrated a little bit to the crowd, like when he got up, and it made me think, like, how tough your opponent is, like, don't lose but I was impressed that he didn't, like, when he came out round two, right? Like when the bell rang.
I really made sure that didn't happen, because even in the round, I was telling him, a good round, you won this round. Be careful. Roque has that. Roque is the type of guy that sucks it up so much that no matter how tired he is, no matter how bad he's getting beaten, he can pull off that one punch knockout. Roque's a tough son of a gun. So that was my biggest worry, man. You know, second round, you're doing good, but just be careful on that left hook, or when you come in, be careful. Rookie's always dangerous. Just keep your guard up, you know, keep moving. And then in the third round, I even knew it was going to be more dangerous because now Roque knew he had to knock Tsuyoshi out. So that was the most important thing, is to keep that lateral movement, and when you have time, take him down. Because from the first two rounds when Tsuyoshi did, you know, first round we got lucky. Roque fell on his own. So, you know, that allowed us to see that, oh, Tsuyoshi can control him on the ground. The second round was Tsuyoshi's smart movement. He kind of did shake Roque a little bit on one of the punches, and instead of continuing punches, he pretended like he did change levels and took him down again, and then controlled him for the rest of that round. So, you know, it's a no-brainer. You know, you're not here to win. You're not here to get the fight of the night. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to stay on the game plan and put out as much damage as you can. You know, if it finishes them, it finishes them. But the objective was not to finish Roque. Roque is a tough son of a gun. You're not going to finish Roque easily. So we didn't want to try to do that, burn his stamina, or make a mistake and get caught with Roque's punches. So we played it safe, and we dominated and just kept out, you know, small damaging blows.
Yeah, because that cut that Roque received, right? I swear that looked worse than the Crow Cop one. Which he, like, you know, in the Crow Cop fight where he got cut and they stopped the fight. I was thinking that cut that he got looked worse. Like, it was something else. I think the cut, man.
I think it was way bigger than what Krokop had. So I mean, when he had it, what Krokop did to him,
yeah. So
you know, it's one of those things, Joe. You don't know if it's some controversial thing, or it's the different doctor, and the doctor thought it was, you know, had a different idea on when he should stop the fight than the doctor that they used today. If it was the same doctor, maybe he felt it was Krokop, so he could strike better and one hit could open. I don't know. You know, you don't know what it is. But yeah, I did think so too. I thought that the cut this time was way worse than what he got experienced in Krokop's fight.
No, definitely. And what was it like, sort of post-fight, pre-fight? Obviously, leading into this podcast, the previous ones we've done talking about this fight, you've kind of talked about how there's a history between you and Rocky's the rest of his teammates as well. I'm just curious to know, how did it go? Did you guys get a chance to talk after the fight?
Oh, it was weird, man, because I've known those guys like for over 20 years, but especially Melker. Melker was one of my training partners from 1998. So, you know, it was weird because when I saw him, I saw him at the rules meeting. It was pretty much, for me, it wasn't like that's the enemy. It was more like, whoa, what's up? How you guys doing? You know, so it was throughout the whole fight, you know, even at the arena when we ring check, after the ring check, we walk by each other in the hall. What's up? Good luck, brother. You know, we're shaking hands, high-fiving each other. I mean, I got nothing but respect for Roque. You know, all the guys that are in the corner, Tony Barsha, all those guys that were in the corner with Roker were all guys that I've known for decades. So it was a nice, friendly feeling, but it was also a little bit weird to be on the other side of the ring, you know, trying to fight them. Yeah. As I could hear Melker's voice coaching Roque, and I'm telling Tsuyoshi, okay, 15 seconds, stand up and head stomp. You know, I'm feeling like, whew. Roque's, I mean, I love Roque. Roque's an awesome guy, classy guy, tough guy. But, you know, at the time of the fight, it's like, I got to say what my fighter needs to do to win. And it's a weird thing that winning, you know, to impose yourself at the end of the round is very good. You know, not just for Roque to feel that, oh, Tsuyoshi is really trying to hurt him, but the crowd to see and the judges to see. So I had Tsuyoshi at the end of the round stand up and stomp and soccer ball kick, you know, because if Roque does grab a leg and take him down or something, it doesn't matter at the end because there's not enough time for him to capitalize on it. So it was weird, man. And even after the fight was done, that was a better feeling because, like, okay, Roque's so tough. He's still standing. He's not hurt. You know, Melker came up to me, goes, bro, dude, good strategy. You know, so I mean, Roque even was honest about it, saying, "Man, this is good strategy." So, it was, I don't know, it was weird, man. I mean, I want every time Roque fought in Rising, I always cheered for him, but this time I was cheering for Tsuyoshi because that was my fighter, and I mean, I always felt like it would be a bittersweet thing that if whoever won, if Roque won, I'm happy for the Guam boys and for Roque, but I'm sad for Tsuyoshi. But then the vice versa, I'm kind of bummed for Roque them, but happy for Tsuyoshi. So it was a kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's a big win for Tsuyoshi, right? I mean, there's no getting around it.
Huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think because of what he learned.
Roque's for real, man.
What do you think is next? Is there any talk of what's next for Tsuyoshi?
Well, they're asking if he can fight in the Super Rising. I don't know. I guess there's an event called Super Rising in July.
So the Hokkaido show.
No, it's Hokkaido's in June. So there's going to be a Super Rising in July. I don't know if that means Pacquiao is going to be fighting on that card, but honestly, he just finished his fight pretty much end of April, so actually beginning of May. It's like so July would be, depending on when in July, he would have like 2.5 months maybe. And personally, I'd rather, when I was fighting, I'd like to take fights 3 months, at least 3 months in between fights, because I gotta take a break. I gotta recalculate recoup myself, and then recollect, and then start the hard training again. So I think personally, Tsuyoshi wants to fight in August or September.
Oh, cool. So still,
we don't. Yeah, we have no idea who the opponent would be. So, I guess that's up in the air and pretty much on what Rising is. Rising wants, and then if what they want works with what we want, and if the opponent's right, he might be fighting in July. If not, we're shooting for August or September.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes next, who he faces next. I think he'll need a little bit of time off, right? Like that. It wasn't like a quick fight like some of his other fights. This was a 3-round fight. He's just had his baby, right, as well. So speaking from experience, I know how challenging that can be. So
yeah, I'm thinking of taking him to Thailand in June to do a little bit of training in Thailand.
Oh, nice. He's gonna swing by with us then.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So he might actually come at the same time. I don't know. One of his sponsors are thinking of coming too. So, I mean, we got our agenda. So, I mean, if they're going to join us on some of the stuff, fine. But if not, they might be doing their own thing, because I know they're probably there for a different reason than us. They're probably there to have a good time more than anything. Of course, Tsuyoshi will be training, but other than that, for us, we're serious guys,
Yeah, nothing, no part.
Hangover, Hangover 2, Hangover 3.
That's what we're filming, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you manage to catch any of the rest of the event at all? Did you see any other fights or anything like that?
Yes, I saw every fight except the Ota fight, the one that he knocked the guy out. Yeah, I didn't get to see that fight.
Didn't see the Ota fight. That was probably one of my favorite fights. It was a brilliant knockout.
Yeah, that's the fight where we were I don't know what happened. We're in the back, or something was going on. We're seeing somebody. Something was happening with us that it was like, it happened so fast. Like, oh shit, it's over.
Yeah, super quick. Kuromoto went down. It was a nice knockout. There was a lot of people picking Kuromoto just because of the experience, but I think Ota, he looks good, man. He's got that Olympic experience, and he's had a lot of tough competition for quite a young fighter, So
yeah, he has
got a promising career ahead of him, definitely. What did you think of the one that blew my mind, which was driving me crazy, was the main event with Asakura and Ushiku, and I don't think Ushiku keep pulling guard. Like, what strategy was that?
No. Yeah, I mean, you wonder if he had something planned up his sleeve in the guard, but every time he pulled guard, Mikuta knew what he was doing and just pretty much kept good position. And of course, it looks better when he's on top trying to throw down punches and the guy sitting down in the guard. I noticed that too. He pulled guard how many times? I almost feel like the fear of the standing was too much for him.
Yeah, it was straight.
I can't see any other reason why he'd pull guard when he's not a jiu-jitsu fighter.
Yeah, and he'd be in like not. It wasn't in like bad positions or anything like that. He'd be in like a good position, and he pull guard. And I mean, you rarely see fighters pull guard, right? But it just blew my mind why he was doing that, because he wouldn't then have any success in the guard either. Mikuru would just kind of land his shots, and yeah, it was quite a frustrating fight to watch. I think the main event. I found the rest of the card a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Poor Rena, man. Apparently, she
Yeah,
got
that one, she got knee barred, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I think it's a quite bad injury as well. So who knows? Maybe she might have to retire after that. But that first round,
Rena's been real. She's been real inconsistent with her career. Yeah, she's already talked about retirement numerous times. So I wouldn't be surprised if this fight pretty much puts her into retirement.
Maybe. Yeah, especially if it's a bad injury, right? But
yeah, especially if it's a bad injury. I mean, it looked like her face is pretty swollen too.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that first round was brutal.
You know, and the thing about she didn't go to the post fight interview. So the only time fighters miss the point post fight interview is usually when they're in the hospital.
But yeah. I mean, she must have gone, right. She must have been pretty badly banged up. But and then my wife's favorite, I roll my eyes, Ren losing, which again I was kind of like a bit of a, because in the confession series they showed how he'd been doing like all this karate training, and he seemed really like trying to counter the strikes, and he wasn't throwing very much at all. It was kind of, he was waiting to have that opportunity to counter, but Saito, being Saito, just took him down relentlessly. But what did you think of that fight?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty boring as far as nobody really went for it. And I thought Saito was going to win because Saito's a much more well-rounded fighter. A lot of hype behind Ren, but I didn't think, as far as experience and technique-wise, I thought Saito was a much better fighter. So I would have been surprised if Ren won, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it went to I think it was a split decision. Like someone scored.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's pretty mad. But yeah, he definitely, I think he could have maybe won some more rounds if he just thrown more. It just seemed super hesitant or trying to time the strikes, or I don't know what it was. But
yeah, definitely Saito won that. Everyone in our room too was, we asked everyone when they were watching it in the monitor, and everyone thought Saito won.
Yeah.
We were kind of shocked, in fact, that when they read Hiramoto Ren's name, like, whoa, is this going to be a fucking ripoff?
Yeah. Everyone was just like, I saw online people like, if Ren wins, they fix the fight. Like Sakagabara's paying judges or something like. And the other fight I enjoyed, but I was hoping we'll go a different way, was Takeda and Gustavo, right? Those guys both brought it. I thought it was a good fight, fun fight. But yeah, Takeda's so tough, man. He can just take those. Like Gustavo is like legit striker. He's obviously trained by Vanderlei, and you see it in his style. So, but Koji Takeda, man, he brings it every time. Right? He always impresses me when we fight.
Whenever anyone fights Takeda, they know they're in for a hard fight because that kid is tough.
Yeah, literally. So, was anyone else that sort of impressed you, or any other impressions of the event?
I was kind of happy with Asakura. Kana won.
Yes.
Yeah, she did really good. So, I mean, I don't know May personally. I know her. She knows of me probably, but I think it's just Asakura Kana is like the sweetest girl you ever meet. She's like a little darling. Yeah, she's such a good-natured, good-hearted girl. It's hard not to cheer for her.
Yeah. I mean, she was like a teenager when they signed her, right?
Yeah.
Madness. But No, that's good. Yeah, it was an enjoyable event. I think a lot of people were disappointed by the main event and the co-main event because they were like the two big stars and hoping that if they won impressively, we get this big sort of super fight. But so I think that put a little bit of a damper on the event. But overall, I think it was generally pretty fun watch.
Yeah, I thought, it was a real anticipated card. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the venue like? Because it's like slap bang in the middle of Tokyo, right?
Oh, it was crazy. It was like packed. It was, and the tickets actually sold out in 1 minute.
Wow, that's crazy.
So they had to make thousands. They adjusted the arena, so they made thousands more seats, and they made another sale, and that sold out within the day.
Well, what did you think of? What did you think of Tsuyoshi fighting in the cage and just RIZIN using the cage in general?
I think the cage suits Tsuyoshi better.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think because he has such good pressure that he can, it's easier for him to take somebody down. It's easier for him to stay away, defend the takedown. I mean, you didn't see it in the fight, but when we're training, something like a wall or a cage would be easier to defend takedowns than a ring.
Yeah, I can see that. It's one where I personally prefer watching fights in a ring because it looks nicer. It's better watching it live as well, right? But I could see why a lot of fighters would prefer the cage. With the ring, you kind of got the starts. What did you prefer? I have interest when you were fighting.
I prefer the cage because it brings out some type of animal instinct in you that you're in a cage. I personally like when you walk in the cage. Of course, for me, whether it's a ring or a cage, I believe that's the area that I plan to die tonight. So it creates that same crazy energy in me. But I guess the cage just adds a little bit of tinge to it, like putting the lions in a cage, and you're about to kill each other. So I personally feel like, fighting was not a sport for me. It was like a life and death situation. And I think something that if there's two people fighting to the death would probably look better in a cage.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know what you mean. It's kind of the aesthetics. I could see why, as a fighter, kind of fire you up just that little bit extra, right? But yeah, no, it was a cool event. And like I say, I kind of watched it in parts, but it was still a good watch. The reason I did was because I went up to Manchester. I went to a convention called For the Love of MMA, which was funny because
That's right.
It was called For the Love of MMA was what it was called, right? But there was a big pro wrestling convention going on in the same building, and the MMA side was decent size, but like not that packed. Whereas the pro wrestling side, I'm not joking, you couldn't breathe. You'd walk in and it would be like, I don't know if you know many pro wrestling fans, but we're talking big people, kind of stinky. It was a tight squeeze in there. But
I saw you had a picture at Rampage and Chuck.
I did. Yeah, it was funny because I think I kind of went into it not really understanding what this was, but it was one of those conventions where you go and then if you want a picture with someone, you have to pay to get the picture. And what was funny was they were like the woman that was sort of taking the payment when I was trying to talk to like Rampage. She was kind of like, "Oh, you need to buy a picture. You need to buy a picture." And Rampage is just like, "He's a personal friend. Just come on." Like, and so he doesn't care. And then I'm talking to Rampage. And then Chuck was next to Rampage, so we started having a conversation. And then I was like, "Should we just get a picture together?" And then you see these people coming up like, "Have you paid for that? Have you paid for that?" And I was like, "Yeah." Trying to use the old Enson pass on.
Oh my goodness!
Those sorts of situations, but no, it was good. It was fun to like meet the fighters and stuff. And
Were you able to tell Chuck that you do the podcast with me?
I was, yeah, and he started. It was when Rampage was there as well, and they were talking about how generous you are, which I attested. Yes, you are. And he said whenever he sees you, you take care of everything. I was like, yes, I've experienced that. He's a super nice guy. And then he was talking as well about training with Egan back in the day. So that was kind of cool to hear about. But yeah, it was good to see meet Chuck for the first time. Obviously, Rampage had been in Thailand, so I was asking for some some advice and tips.
Okay, what was one of his tips? I gotta hear this.
His 3 things that I took away was everyone's high because everyone's just smoking weed out there, which I was like, okay,
Wow.
interesting. The other one was all the women look like men. I was like, okay, right. And the third thing was don't eat the street food. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't think I'm gonna listen to tip 3. I think I will. We'll have to dabble in some street food, but
Yeah, I guess the street food too. Yeah, I've eaten it before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
there's
you'll be
also
alright.
street bugs to eat too. So if you want to eat that, you can dwell in.
There's the
Indulge into
revenge
that.
taste test.
And about the girls looking like guys, I'm like, damn, Rampage, where did you go in Thailand, man? Make sure we don't go where Bob Sapp took you.
Well, that was the funny thing. You said that like Bob Sapp is like the cheapest guy ever, and he like wouldn't let Rampage spend his money. Like he's that. Like...
Oh no.
Yeah, so it sounded like he had a good time anyway. So, but it was.
Oh, that's good. It looked interesting when he was doing that circus thing. Yeah.
Funnily enough, George St. Pierre was there as well, and I did have a conversation with George, and I did say like, "Oh, maybe we get you on the podcast." He kind of like put me in touch with his manager, so I don't know how serious he was about it, but he knew who you were, and I think he said you were a fan. I couldn't really hear him. It's like a loud convention. There's a lot of stuff going on, but
yeah,
sure
you know George St. Pierre, which was real funny is when they had the UFC in Japan.
Yeah.
He was getting like mobbed by fans.
Really? Yeah.
And he's such a gentleman. When he saw me, he made it a point to break away from the fans and came to shake my hand and say, "Oh man, what's up? I have a lot of respect for you." And
yeah, I think he'd be. I said to him that I think it would be a great podcast because so they were doing seminars with some of the fighters, and I got to see GSPs and I got to see Rampages, and they gave you like a chance to ask questions. So one of the questions I asked was actually about RIZIN. I said, do you have any interest in still competing? Maybe not in MMA, but would you be interested in doing like some? I said maybe box Manny Pacquiao because they're the same sort of weight class, or maybe do some sort of grappling with someone. He kind of didn't really give a complete answer. It was kind of like a yes/no. So there might be some interest there. I think with him, it kind of depends on the offer. But the other thing I asked him was kind of about what motivates him. And there was a lot of like similar themes to stuff that you've talked about on the podcast. So it'd be really cool to hear kind of you guys talk to each other and see what tips you guys have for our viewers.
That would be interesting. I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll maybe get that one happening. Have a look out for it in the future.
Also, I'm going to tell you what happened to us the last week. Yeah.
Okay.
We had a fan that noticed me on the street and wanted to take a picture. He found me on Instagram, messaged me later, said, "Can you come back to where we met? I have a shop there." He went there. He pulls out this cloth of items and he opens it up and he's like, "I want to give you one as a present." And I'm like, "What are those? Are those diamonds in there?" He goes, "Yes." I'm like, "Whoa, no." I said, I can't take diamond stuff." He goes, "Please, I want you to have one, and I want your wife to take one too." And when me and Sarah looking at each other like, "Holy shit, is this for real?"
Yes.
So he gave me this, yeah.
That is awesome. Wow.
32 diamonds in them.
Wow. Do you have any idea what the value might be or something like that?
I think this is on silver. There was one that was on gold that, I didn't want to choose anything. I'm more of a gold person, but I didn't want to choose anything. So I just told him to pick what he wanted. He gave me this. And when he had Sarah likes gold. So we checked on the gold stuff and the gold ones didn't fit. And it so happened the one that kind of matches, but a circular one, that one fit Sarah. He gave us a website because he said he only sells online. So these rings cost over $2,000.
Wow. For a gift. It's so generous, man.
And the gold ones that we're looking at, those were, and he was totally happy to give us one of those too. But I just took what he gave me, and Sarah just used actually took what she fit, and the only one she fit was a silver one. But the gold one was over $9,000.
And man, so generous. Like people,
I
man.
know, that's so crazy, man. So I went back the next day, made him a lab diamond bracelet, the moissanite bracelet.
Oh, that looked nice.
Yeah, and he loved it. So he was so happy. He was so stoked. I mean, I guess not just what it is, but it was made by me. So he was super stoked about that. He actually ordered a bracelet the other day, so I got to drop it off to him tomorrow. He already paid for it. So good guy, man. Good, real nice, real good fan.
It's great, man, when you meet good people like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had any luxury gifts like that, but I did when I was at the MMA convention. I did pick up this.
Hey, you know what? Your picture's been frozen the whole time.
Oh, really?
I thought you were like really good at
Is it
being a
back now?
statue.
Should I just
No,
move?
you're in that same position you were. I think the last 25 minutes, maybe.
Are you serious?
It's like this. You're like this.
I really hope it hasn't done that on the recording because I'm like moving in my picture. So
If it's like that in the recording, then you're a ventriloquist.
then it'll be audio only episode, people.
So you're probably gonna have to tell me what you got because I can't see it. I
You
see a
can't see it.
frozen James.
I will send you. In fact, I've got a picture of it. Let me send you a picture. Yeah. So for the viewers watching, if you can see this, I bought this at the event to go on my desk. Can you see what?
Shit, that is cool.
Someone painted it. Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
So it's like a mini little painting of Joe Rogan. And the guy
Wow, that's cool.
He was just there doing MMA paintings, and I was like, "That's awesome!" And I just had to get one because it looks great on my desk. So
It's like Joe seeing a knockout or submission that he wasn't ready for. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good little thing.
Don't you love it how Joe Rogan is such a fan of the sport that when he's working and commentating, he can't cover that fan side of him when he sees some crazy shit happen.
Yeah,
I love that realness to Joe.
I know it's rare, right? Because I find this a lot with like American broadcasting. They want them to be a certain way and like present things a certain way, but actually, Joe is just Joe Rogan. He's just the same guy he's been for.
Well, who's gonna tell Joe what to do?
Yeah. So it's nice to have that authenticity. But yeah, I appreciate you staying up late. Is there anything else you want to discuss or let people know about?
Nothing much. Just is the purchasing the Thai trip was kind of weird, because the big reason why we're going is for me to see Santian's family. So I am looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it. So really weird feeling there. So we'll make sure we do a podcast on that trip. So look forward to it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, like and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe so you can see those videos coming up. And please share this podcast as well. And we will talk to again everybody soon.
Right on. But I hope you enjoyed it. I stayed up late, avoided all the zombie attacks just to do this podcast. So hope you appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Right on.